Have you ever felt like something vanished? Not just your car keys, but an entire community. Gone. Without a single credible explanation. Today we're diving headfirst into one of history's most baffling disappearances, the lost colony of Roanoke. What happened to over 100 men, women, and children on a remote island centuries ago? The theories range from the mundane to the truly terrifying, and trust me, the truth might be stranger than fiction. Imagine this. It's 1587. England is flexing its naval muscles, eager to plant a flag and profit in the New World. A group of hopeful settlers, 117 of them, including women and children, land on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what we now know as North Carolina. Their appointed governor, John White, soon sails back to England for much-needed supplies. Little did he know, that simple voyage would turn into a years-long nightmare. A nightmare that would echo through history, leaving a gaping void where a thriving settlement should have been. 3 long, agonizing years passed. England found itself embroiled in a naval war with Spain, the Spanish Armada looming large, making any return voyage perilous, if not impossible. This geopolitical turmoil delayed White's return until 1590. What he finally found was nothing. The colony was utterly deserted. No signs of struggle, no bodies, no clear indication of what had transpired. Just an eerie, profound silence hanging over the empty settlement. Houses were dismantled, suggesting a planned departure, not a sudden, violent upheaval. But where did they go? And why leave so completely, without a single soul remaining? The only clue: 2 cryptic carvings. The word Croton, boldly carved into a post of the palisade fence surrounding what was once the settlement, and the letters CRO etched into a nearby tree. Croton was the name of a nearby island and, crucially, the name of the Native American tribe that inhabited it, led by Chief Manteo, who had been a friendly contact for the English. Was this a message? A destination? A desperate plea for help? Or something far more sinister, a deliberate misdirection to conceal a darker truth? The most straightforward theory, the one often cited first due to its grim simplicity, is starvation and disease. The early days of colonial settlement were undeniably brutal. Harsh winters, unfamiliar crops, infertile soil, and the constant threat of endemic illnesses like dysentery and smallpox could decimate a population quickly. Perhaps the Roanoke colonists simply succumbed to these insurmountable hardships, one by one, until none remained. But if that were truly the case, wouldn't there be remains? Evidence of widespread illness? Graves, however shallow or unmarked. The complete absence of any such signs, no skeletons, no scattered belongings, no desperate signs of a final struggle, makes this theory feel incomplete. It doesn't quite explain the clean disappearance, the dismantled homes. It leaves too many unanswered questions hanging in the salty sea air, questions that history has yet to definitively answer. The sheer void is what makes Roanoke so perplexing. Could they have tried to integrate with the local Native American tribes? It's a compelling idea, one that offers a glimmer of a less tragic outcome. The Croton were known to be relatively friendly with the English, at least initially. Governor White himself had established good relations with Chief Manteo. Perhaps, facing dire starvation, escalating tensions with other less friendly tribes, or simply the overwhelming isolation, the colonists sought refuge with them. The carved word Croton certainly points in this direction, almost like a breadcrumb leading to a potential sanctuary. Archaeological evidence has offered some tantalizing hints over the years. Discoveries of European artifacts, fragments of pottery, tools, even jewelry, found on Croton Island and in areas inhabited by other local tribes like the Hatteras or the Roanoke, suggest some interaction, possibly even integration, between the colonists and indigenous peoples. However, definitive, irrefutable proof of the entire colony seamlessly joining these tribes remains elusive. Could over 100 English men, women, and children have simply blended into existing Native American communities without leaving a more substantial, undeniable trace? It's certainly possible, given the circumstances and the nature of oral traditions versus written records, but it stretches the limits of what we know, making it a theory that tantalizes but doesn't fully satisfy. But what if the answer isn't so peaceful? What if something far darker befell the lost colony? What if their disappearance wasn't a slow fade into the wilderness, but a sudden, violent erasure? Let's consider the political climate of the time. England and Spain were locked in a bitter, religiously fueled rivalry for control of the New World. Spanish ships patrolled these very waters, fiercely protecting their territorial claims. Could a secret Spanish attack have wiped out the colony? It's a chilling thought. Perhaps they saw the English settlement as a direct threat to their own burgeoning empire in the Americas, a thorn in their side that needed to be surgically removed. If the Spanish were indeed responsible, they would have likely wanted to eliminate all evidence of their actions to avoid escalating an already volatile conflict into full-blown war, especially in the remote reaches of the New World. A swift, brutal attack followed by the deliberate destruction or removal of bodies and possessions could explain the astonishing lack of remains. However, historical records of such a significant attack are surprisingly absent from both English and Spanish archives. It would have been a major military operation, surely noted somewhere, even in covert dispatches. The deafening silence surrounding this possibility, the complete lack of a Spanish boast or an English accusation, is almost as perplexing as the disappearance itself. Hey, if you're finding this deep dive into the mysteries of the past as fascinating as I am, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more curious minds like yours. And trust me, we're just scratching the surface of this historical enigma. There are more unsettling possibilities to explore. Then there are the more unsettling theories, ones that stray beyond the realm of conventional historical inquiry. Some whisper of malevolent forces, of ancient curses tied to the land, even supernatural intervention. While these theories entirely lack concrete evidence and rely heavily on folklore and speculation, the sheer, enduring mystery of the Roanoke disappearance has fueled such speculation for centuries. The unknown, the inexplicable, has a profound way of breeding the unbelievable in the human imagination. But let's reel ourselves back to the realm of plausible, albeit still unproven, explanations. One intriguing idea involves internal conflict within the colony itself. Could disagreements, power struggles, or desperate measures have led to a violent schism, with one group leaving and the other meeting a darker, perhaps self-inflicted, fate? Perhaps the dismantled houses weren't a sign of organized departure, but of a colony falling apart from within, consumed by its own tensions and despair. The challenges of survival in a new world often brought out the best, and sometimes the worst, in people. Another theory focuses on the possibility of a devastating Native American attack from a tribe other than the friendly Croton. While Governor White had built good relations with Chief Manteo, relations between settlers and other indigenous populations often soured rapidly due to misunderstandings, territorial disputes, and the devastating spread of European diseases against which native peoples had no immunity. Could a breakdown in communication, an act of aggression by desperate colonists, or a strategic decision by a hostile tribe have led to the colony's violent demise? Again, the lack of any significant signs of a violent struggle or battle makes this less likely to have been the sole cause for the entire colony's vanishing, but not entirely impossible for a portion of it. Think about the sheer desperation these colonists must have felt, stranded in a new, often hostile environment, thousands of miles from home, with dwindling supplies and no sign of their promised resupply from Governor White. What choices would they have made? What risks would they have taken in their final, desperate moments? One particularly haunting theory suggests that the colonists, facing overwhelming odds, dwindling supplies, and no sign of Governor White's long-overdue return, attempted to sail back to England themselves. Imagine a small, ill-equipped ship, perhaps not even seaworthy for such a journey, overloaded with over 100 people, attempting a perilous transatlantic voyage back across the vast, unforgiving Atlantic. The odds of survival would have been astronomically low. A sudden, violent storm, a navigational error, or simply running out of fresh water and provisions could have led to a tragic end at sea, leaving absolutely no trace behind. The ocean, after all, is the ultimate devourer of secrets. The mystery of Roanoke has captivated historians, archaeologists, and amateur sleuths for centuries because it's a profound blank page in our understanding of the past. It forces us to confront the immense fragility of early colonial ventures, the brutal realities faced by those who dared to venture into the unknown, and the tantalizing possibility that some historical puzzles simply refuse to be solved. If you're enjoying this journey into the shadows of history, make sure you like and subscribe for more explorations of the weird and the unexplained. We've got plenty more historical rabbit holes to dive down together, each one promising new insights and fresh questions. And what about those carved clues? Croton and CRO. Were these truly desperate messages left for Governor White, clear instructions to follow? Did they indicate the colonists' intended destination, or perhaps a chilling warning about who or what had befallen them? The ambiguity of these two simple carvings only deepens the enigma. Were they fully assimilated into the Croton tribe, losing their English identity? Were they attacked by the Croton, or perhaps sought refuge with them only to be betrayed? Did a faction of the colony try to reach Croton Island while the others, perhaps too sick or too weak to travel, stayed behind and met a different, more isolated fate? The possibilities, like the vast, churning Atlantic, seem endless. And that's perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the lost colony. We are left with mere fragments, whispers on the wind, and a profound, echoing silence where a thriving community once stood. History, in this instance, refused to write its final chapter. So, what truly happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Did they starve? Did they integrate? Were they victims of a secret Spanish attack? Or did something else entirely, something we can barely imagine from the comfort of our modern world, lead to their complete and utter disappearance? Thanks for making it to the very end of this journey into one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. If you found yourself captivated by the shadows of Roanoke, don't let the mystery end here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to join our next expedition into the unknown. What dark corner of history should we explore next?